옥정고 2학년 1학기 기말 3. 3월 24번.
Rooms have their own sound because they impose their own characteristics on audio signals contained within them. It's actually kind of remarkable. Sounds such as music coming from headphones will sound the same everywhere. No matter what acoustical environment we are in, the headphones sound the same. That's because the room is not part of that playback signal path. But sounds such as music from a loudspeaker will sound different in every acoustical environment. Every room where you set up the loudspeaker will cause the sound you hear to be different, sometimes dramatically different. That is because the room is now part of the signal path. Also, in the same room, the loudspeaker will sound different when it is placed in different locations in the room, and it will sound different as you move around the room. Similarly, when you are recording a musical instrument, the sound you receive at the microphone will be different in every room, and the recorded sound will sound different as the instrument or the microphone is moved.
3월 26번.
Dennis William Sayama was born in Manchester, England, in 1926. He received an education in mathematics and physics at Malvern College. Despite his father's wish for him to take over the family business, Sayama chose to continue pursuing his academic career. After earning a doctoral degree in physics from the University of Cambridge in 1953, he became famous for his research on the universe. Early in his career, Sayama supported the steady-state theory, which argued that the universe had no beginning. However, when new evidence against the theory appeared in the 1960s, he changed his view and accepted the Big Bang model. In 1991, he was awarded the Guthrie Medal for outstanding contributions to experimental physics by the British Institute of Physics. Sayama's role as a mentor became known even outside academic circles. Later, he was introduced in films about his most famous student, Stephen Hawking, which made Sayama known to a wider audience.
3월 30번.
In a thesis-based doctoral program, students typically spend a significant amount of time and effort researching a specific topic. While this deep dive into a particular area allows for thorough exploration and understanding, it can also result in narrowing the focus. As students become deeply absorbed in their research, they may spend less time exploring related fields or acquiring skills outside their immediate area of study. Consequently, this singular focus may limit the breadth of knowledge and skills developed during the program, potentially hindering students' ability to adapt to diverse career paths or address interdisciplinary challenges. Some universities in Europe have recognized the limitations of traditional thesis-based doctoral programs and have started to implement more structured approaches. These structured programs often combine research with coursework and training in transferable skills. By incorporating coursework, seminars, workshops and internships into the curriculum, they aim to provide students with a broader skill set and better prepare them for a variety of career paths beyond academia.
3월 31번.
Research shows that, by age 3, children understand that imaginary objects do not come to life. This is especially clear with respect to everyday objects. Children know that even though they imagine a pencil in an empty box, the box will remain empty. However, emotion can sometimes disrupt this understanding, or at least its expression. That is, even though a child knows that monsters are not real, the thought of a monster under a bed might be enough to make a child refuse to go into his room at night. Indeed, research shows that children have a more difficult time displaying their understanding of the causal relations between imagination and reality when they are asked to pretend or imagine scary things, like monsters. In one study, preschool children were shown an empty box and were asked to imagine a monster inside. All children agreed that the box was empty. However, when they were left alone with the box, they exhibited fear and avoidance of it.
3월 33번.
One cannot validly argue that humans are morally superior beings on the ground that they possess, while others lack the capacities of a moral agent. The reason is that, as far as moral standards are concerned, only beings that have the capacities of a moral agent can meaningfully be said to be either morally good or morally bad. Only moral agents can be judged to be morally better or worse than others, and the others in question must be moral agents themselves. Judgments of moral superiority are based on the comparative merits or deficiencies of the entities being judged, and these merits and deficiencies are all moral ones, that is, ones determined by moral standards. One entity is correctly judged morally superior to another if it is the case that, when valid moral standards are applied to both entities, the first fulfills them to a greater degree than the second. Both entities, therefore, must fall within the range of application of moral standards. This would not be the case, however, if humans were being judged superior to animals and plants, since the latter are not moral agents.